Hey everyone, it's Lee the Appraiser for another brief episode of Amazing Appraising. And today we're going to be talking about some very beautiful watches that are in huge demand now, collector pieces, modern watches, etc. But some of the hottest watches in the world. And I don't know if you guys know, but Rolex, which is one of the premier brands and one of the ones that are in the most demand, you go to their stores, you can't even find one men's watch available. Not one. Insane, right? It's probably the only product in the world where you can't buy the product, even at retail price. You know what we have a client, they went there yesterday, you know what they told him? Come back in 5 years. Oh my God, the guy said, I don't even know if I'm going to be around in 5 years. Well, come back in 5 years. Or what's the other choice is to come to APR57 and get your watch now. So today we're very excited. Not only are we going to be showing watches, but we have a special guest here. His name is Mr. Adrian, who, say hello to everybody, Mr. Adrian.
How are you?
Okay, so we actually know him through his mom, who is really one of the premier art restorers in the world. I've met a number of them over my 40 years, and she is really the most talented, creative, and an unbelievable restorer. I guess she learned her skill in Russia, probably. Is that where
In Ukraine, yeah.
In the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Who taught her? You know?
She's pretty much self-taught.
She was, I think she told me she was an artist who decided
she was an interior
to...
designer, and then she kind of found her way through antique restoration. And
Right. I guess was that she knew how to paint.
Oh, absolutely.
And then from being a fine painter, she probably knew how to touch up her paintings.
Yes,
and then that just blossomed into probably somebody came to her and said, here, can you fix my painting?
And she realized she can do it, and then she kind of...
really, unbelievable.
Like a snowball,
really, crazy. I mean, she's done paintings for us that you can't even, decipher that they had any issue whatsoever.
Sometimes I look at them like, wow.
Right. You think the plastic surgeons have something on before and after pictures? No.
Yeah.
She has the best before and after pictures ever, right?
She's an intense eye for detail.
Right. Cool. And the nicest person. And her son follows in her footsteps. So anyhow, Mr. Adrian is our first real professional influencer that's going to be helping us promote our brand and our products. So we figured what better than to have a professional person who knows style, taste, quality, have some of their comments. This is not rehearsed at all. We're just going to ask him about some of the watches that he has seen here and that he tried on, and we're going to discuss that. So we're going to start off with a very, very special watch in the box. Okay, this just came in here. This is called a Richard Mille. It is probably, I can say, the most expensive watch brand in the world. If you're a fan of tennis, some of you ever watch tennis? Okay, so there's a player by the name of what's his name? Rafael Nadal.
Okay. Oh, he wears Richard Mille?
If you ever see, he wears it while he's playing his match.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And he has a watch that the retail price typically it's like a $1.5 million.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
So, wow, play tennis with that watch, that's crazy. So I guess he's not worried in front of, an audience of 40,000 people and 10 million people watching on TV that somebody's going to take it from him and say, hey, Rafi, give me that watch. So I guess he has that security there that he's not concerned about. But anyhow, so let's see what we got in here. Okay, now let's see if we can film this here. This is their special box that opens up, and there she is. Okay, so
wow, it's beautiful.
So this is the same style as Mr. Nadal wears. Okay, you got that? So
this looks good.
So, and you feel how light it is. So we can actually have no problem playing tennis with that. It's made of titanium, which is the lightest metal in the world. I think they use that for aircraft, for the certain parts of the plane. The motor, you see the skeleton front and back.
I love it, and the bezel.
And it's automatic, and it's a chronograph, it's a stopwatch, so you push it here, it stops, and it resets there.
Oh, this is sweet.
And
so detailed.
Crazy, right? So this is one of only, we have all the paperwork here, Miss Blue, as well. This is one of, I think, 20 watches that were made for the Dubai market when it was released about 10 years ago. And the guy, I think, paid, I think it was $500,000 for this watch. This is, we've handled a couple of them before, but this is always a pleasure and exciting time for us to sell one of these things and offer them to our clients. So just a super rare watch. One of our clients was in, I think, Palm Beach, Florida a couple weeks ago. He was there for a couple weeks, and he told me every morning, his hotel was right, I guess, near downtown Palm Beach, and he said, like, every morning there was a line of customers that would wait outside the door to purchase these watches at retail price.
That's crazy.
So we're selling this one for about half of the market value. This is the cheapest one you'll ever find. Okay, so we're going to ask you your professional opinion of a number of different watches here. I see you're wearing a very beautiful, this is called a Rolex Daytona chronograph, which is the first stopwatch. It's a sports stopwatch that Rolex made. The first one they made was in the mid-1960s, the Rolex Daytona, and it became popular as Paul Newman wore it in one of his movies that he made, the Daytona 500, the racing.
Oh yes, that's right.
And this is, so the bezel here is all 18 karat, the bracelet is 18 karat, and it actually matches your shirt beautifully.
Yeah, it does.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
So
nice.
You
The
know,
strap is nice.
so
The subdial is gorgeous.
gorgeous. So this guy knows subdials, everything.
Yeah.
Cool. It's porcelain white. So this is a watch here that the retails today. A lot of the Rolex watches, and especially their sport models, have doubled in price over the last year. Nobody really knows why. I mean, the simple answer is because of demand and low supply. So as I was saying earlier, Rolex has basically stopped selling the watches. I don't know if they're making them, but they're not putting them in their stores. They're not available. Demand is crazy pent up. So when somebody tells you, I went to the Rolex store and they're not available, you correct them and say, what are you talking about? They're available 4 blocks away at APR57. They got all you need, all you want. You're just not shopping at the right place. I'm sorry. Right place. Not right place, but right price. So we have both available. So we're going to show you. I actually have that watch here. I think you saw this one earlier. What do you think of that one? That's the Daytona in 18 karat white gold. Do you feel it's heavier a little?
Yeah, it's heavier.
Right? So that's also beautiful white dial with.
Very nice.
So yeah, I want to get that. So these.
The dial is really nice. I love the white, and it complements the strap. It looks really cool.
So tell me what you think of here. We got some of our real cool watches here. So tell me what, like, you know what this is? This is a Rolex. This is a limited edition. So they have their normal Submariner wristwatch, which is something like this. This is the Rolex Submariner. Okay? And let me go back a little further. So in about the late 50s, early 60s, they made this watch, which was the first sport diving watch Rolex made. I think it was 1958 was the first one. This one dates to about 1970. Okay, it was issued with a black dial with white. It's called markers and stuff like that. And this watch became famous because Sean Connery wore it in the first and several James Bond movies.
Oh wow!
Okay,
Yeah.
and they supposedly, if you watch the movies, so what's it called? The English? No, but the English Secret Service.
Oh yeah, Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Right, Her Majesty's Secret Service. There was a name for that. I forgot. So they custom made the watches that had different properties with them, meaning that they had magnetic fields in them that could move magnets and do very strange things. So that was one of the devices that they would supply Bond with.
So cool.
And so this was
Can
the
it
first
do it?
one.
No, I'm just kidding.
I actually did an appraisal for the original watch.
Oh, it did?
Yeah. Some guy bought it. This is going back several years ago, and we appraised it for $1.5 million. It was for the Roger Moore movie,
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never, right?
I know.
And he was doing. Oh, you know it, right? So there's one scene there where it shows him. He meets this young lady, which he always seemed to do, in a hotel room, and they were discussing business, of course. And as she turns around
Mm-hmm.
with the watch and its magnetic field, he is able to unzip her dress.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wow.
And she turns around and she goes, "James, how are you able to do that?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Sheer magnetism."
Oh, that's
That's what-
that's perfect.
So anyhow, so we appraised that original watch. So this is very cool, right? You see, it has what's called the gold patina. That means it
Yeah.
changes the color of the luminescence from white to almost gold or orange.
That's
Very
amazing.
cool. So this is one of the most collectible watches in the world, and this is one of the most beautiful copies in the world. These go for anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 in this condition. If you guys have any that you want to appraise, sell, or fix, or whatever you want to do with them, sell them, let us know. We're happy to do that for you, and we would love to see them. So then they took that watch, and then this is a watch from probably about the 1980s or 90s. This is the new model Submariner. And then they made a watch in the late 70s called the Sea Dweller. These went at that time up to about 600 feet underwater.
Wow.
And then they wanted something that even went deeper, so they came up with a watch called the Sea Dweller.
Okay.
And this model here is probably from maybe 10 years ago, that a company, there were several, but this was the main one in England, that they custom changed the watch, meaning they put a black PVD coating on it, and they put actually a special dial on it. It's called Stealth, right? It's called Stealth, like the Stealth bomber. I don't know if you can see that in green.
Yeah, I can see.
And they custom made this watch, so it's very, very cool.
Oh, that's really good. Wow.
Very, very cool. And they put it on a NATO, what they call a NATO nylon strap. Yes, I think that's what they call it, nylon. Okay.
Wow.
So very popular, very nice for somebody who wants the Submariner with an extra unique style and sense of rarity. And then they took that watch. Oops, this one, I guess, no, the pin fell out. So this is called the Rolex Yachtmaster. So it's basically similar to the Submariner series, but as the name implies, Yachtmaster, it was known for yachting, for yacht racing. And they made this watch exclusively with a platinum, like a platinum dial and an actual platinum bezel. So, and again, all these watches have gone up. If you have one for sale, now's the time to sell. So this one goes for today about $10,000 to $15,000. This is one of their newer standard models. It is called the Rolex. I think they typically call it the 41. The name goes with the millimeter size, so it's extra large. It's got a very beautiful dial in mint condition. This is a Datejust, which is the men's typical size and watch that they made throughout the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and up until today.
Yeah.
It has a very beautiful black onyx dial, and it's one of the very few watches of Rolex do not have the markers or the numbers there.
Markers.
It's all plain.
I love it.
It's got the 18 karat white gold bezel.
Yeah.
They have the automatic perpetual movement, and that's really cool. Here, you want to put that on your wrist? See how?
This is cool, yeah.
It's a very nice, simple, classic watch. All our social media, as Miss Blue says, is on the description box below.
Yeah.
So please feel free to, most people in New York, when they're going home at night, they don't like to be followed. We like to be followed. So there's no security issues here. So follow us, okay? We promise we won't turn around and hit you in the head.
And like,
So-
share, and comment.
Huh? For sure. So follow us. And again, I want to thank Adrian for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay, till next time, good night, everyone.